Now, John, there's no time.
Here's what real magic looks like. I like the action. Move!
What's up, fan bros? It's your boy Benhameen. We are here with Jay Oliva, the director of Justice League Dark, coming in 2017. All right, now my first thing is, as the director of an animated film, you basically have, there's a budget, but there's no budget, right? It's like just what your imagination can do.
Well, there's a budget, but believe me, there's a budget and a schedule that they're like, you gotta get this done. But in terms of like what we can do, it's just whatever our imagination can do. And remember, we still have to fit it in within the 76 minutes that we've got. So it's kind of hard, especially with something like this where we have an ensemble cast to try to make sure everybody has enough screen time and have a story that's kind of cohesive, that kind of has a through story. But it's great because in live action. You might want to do a certain shot, and the your film crew will be like, we don't have a crane or we don't have a jib. With this, I can do whatever I want in terms of like I don't have to worry about like I don't have, it's funny, I remember I was working on Batman v Superman, and I was having Batman do something, and then the stunt guys were like, yeah, I don't think we could do that. I'm like, oh, I keep forgetting, because in my animated one, I'll have Batman, backflip, throw 2 batarangs, and then leap, backflip, like leap through like a window, and not worry about it because, the stunt guy isn't going to get hurt. I don't have to worry about like how they're actually physically going to do it. I just draw it, So that's the one kind of difference. And I like, with the animation stuff, it's freeing because I can kind of really push it wherever I want to be.
In Batman v Superman, you had Batman doing a lot of crazy stuff already. So how crazy does it get in Justice League Dark?
Oh, crazy. I'm sure you've seen my past films. So whenever you see Batman, I always like having him with like, if you ever see exploding batarangs, most likely it's something that I did. I love exploding because I figured, if I'm Batman, I'm putting explosives, And I like to like really utilize a lot of the gadgets, a lot of his kind of like smoke bombs, all the things that like, very classic what Bruce Timm and company has kind of done. But make him more like, James Bond with a lot of different gadgets. But for me, what I like the most is making it clear that he has learned every single martial arts known to man, and then I'll have him switch up from MMA into Jeet Kune Do to, Jiu-Jitsu and just all, but he just flawlessly like goes from each different style, to me that's the fun stuff,
No, that's one of the best things. That's one of the things that I loved about Batman vs Superman is that, in that big fight scene in the warehouse where he was just switching from this style to this style, doing whatever it took to get done. And like you said, in animation, you can basically just show him go all out from capoeira to anything he needs. So.
Exactly, yeah. You don't have to worry about, I got to find a stuntman that can do that, or I got to do, and it's kind of fun. The only bad thing, though, is that I have to draw it all, and I have to, because, I'm not a martial artist. I just know how to fake it really well. Yep. So I do a lot of references. I watch a lot of stuff. I watch, live action, like MMA real fights. Then I watch a lot of, the kind of more Hong Kong style, or the Indonesian kind of Tony Jaa kind of styles, or The Raid. I love The Raid, and John Wick. I look at that stuff, and I'm like, okay, now how do I bring this into the DC universe and make it that part of the kind of like part of the DNA of this kind of New 52 universe, because you've never seen that before, and that's what the kind of stuff that I want to do.
Definitely. And then not only do you have Batman in this film, you also have the Justice League Dark, which is basically a lot of magic, a lot of supernatural, a lot of science fiction. So how do you incorporate that with all the realness that you obviously like of just the ass kickings?
Oh, yeah. The thing is that like I approached it like, okay, if I was gonna do Harry Potter, how would I do Harry Potter? But push it, And like the thing is that I love Final Fantasy and and Full Metal Alchemist, all the anime stuff. So I'm like, okay, now these are the things that I love. Now how do I bring that in? And I try to find new ways of doing it, and within the context of like, oh yeah, Superman's in this universe, or how does this affect Wonder Woman and that kind of stuff. And that to me is the exciting part, because it's like being able to play with these characters and put them into situations that you don't normally see them in. And that to me, as a filmmaker and as a storyteller, like that is the things that I'm most attracted to. Like, oh, like for example, like when I did Under the Red Hood, I didn't direct it, but I did the death of Robin, and the director Brendan Vietti, I asked him, I was like, hey, have you assigned that out yet? He's like, no. I was like, let me do it, because I want to do my own kind of take on it, And so I wanted to set it in Sarajevo during like the war area, and I wanted to really kind of push that kind of feel to the whole when he's getting beat up with the crowbar, because that to me is the fun stuff. Because then because it's classic. Because honestly, I took out the comic book and I opened it and I'm like, oh, it's just like 4 panels, And so I'm like, okay, now how do I fill in the blanks so that the audience thinks that this is what they saw in their head, but in reality it's something totally different. Same thing with Dark Knight Returns and Flashpoint. I tried to like do my own spin and take on it.
Oh, you did, brother. Let me tell you, you did. Those are three of my favorites right there. And then let me tell you personally, when they killed him, when they killed Robin back in the day, I actually called in and I voted for him to die. And then it is, and I felt so horrible when it actually happened, like, because I didn't expect them to actually kill him. So I was like, oh yeah, vote for him to die. And then he killed him, and it was just, ugh.
Don't be surprised when Jason Todd shows up at your doorstep and be like, "You killed me. You killed me."
It's a reoccurring nightmare I have.
He's just standing over your bed with his red hood on, the red hood mask.
That would make it, especially if he's just wearing the Red Hood mask, that's to be even worse.
Yeah.
Yes, this nightmare is getting worse and worse right now.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in a movie. That's going in a movie right now. Justice League Dark 2. Jason Todd, just with the mask and nothing else.
All right. Well, real quick, out of all the characters, which one did you find yourself that you grew more attracted to, like, as, you know, identified with, that you weren't so much, you know, when you started this project?
You know, I would say Jason Blood Etrigan's storyline, because you know, this one you actually see his you know, his backstory and like how he became Etrigan, and you'll actually see his kind of through story throughout the movie. And I think out of all the characters, like, I mean, I love Constantine, I love Zatanna, all the other ones, but he was the one where, I mean, I had done Etrigan before, like we had him in Flashpoint, I'd done him in the past. And this was the first time where, like, I really kind of felt for him and kind of found his story and tried to, like, give it a different take. So that was the one, I think, in the movie that I really kind of gravitated to.
That's great, because I loved him in Justice League Unlimited, but I feel like he's never gotten his real shine that he needs. So I'm happy for that, because I love Etrigan. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining Fan Bros, man. Had a great time. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Peace.